c'est l'heure de la jeunesse. Suivons la voie de la sagesse qui nous appelle, qui nous invite à l'union. C'est la voie de la nation.
Fellow Cameroonians, I'm Jacques Bouhga Hagbe, the Cameroonian economist and candidate in the upcoming presidential election in October 2025 in Cameroon. In this video message, I share my proposals on the land reform that I will implement if I'm elected. It is shocking to see that in Cameroon, well-connected individuals hold land titles and land concessions on virgin forests that have never been developed. The main consequence of such absurd practices is to cause land speculation and block economic activity by artificially increasing land prices. The Cameroonian Constitution will have to address this problem. First, the land title will remain the only legal document certifying land ownership in the eyes of the law. Other property titles will be introduced to boost real estate investment and secure private property, such as apartments in buildings. Before any transfer of land title, the future owner of the land title will have to first acknowledge all property titles linked to the land title or the plot of land they are acquiring. Otherwise, the transfer of land title will not take place and the plot will revert to the national domain. Second, each living taxpayer will be entitled to only one land title for principal residence, covering an area not exceeding 1,000 square meters per living taxpayer. This land title will not be withdrawn as long as the taxpayer is alive and as long as he or she fulfills the tax obligations associated with this title. Thirdly, the state will only be able to grant land titles on plots of the national domain after payment of a price per square meter set by the competent authorities and made public in advance. There will be no more of these absurd commissions that grant land titles to virgin forests that have never been developed. There will also be no more land concessions because these do not constitute a title deed and are a great incentive for corruption. People holding land concessions will have 3 years to convert these concessions into a land title. Fourth, all titled plots of land, excluding plots with land titles for primary residence, will be reviewed at least once every 3 years. For each title plot, the review will have to be endorsed by a plot development report. The main criterion for development of Cameroonian land will be the level of income declared to the tax authorities as coming from the development of this land. Landowners will have to pay fines on undeveloped areas or return the undeveloped area to the national domain. In order to limit corruption, the loss of huge sums of money to the state and ease the burden on the land registry and property services, notaries will be given electronic access to cadastral maps throughout Cameroon through a personalized electronic account with the land registry. They will become the primary authorities responsible for land transactions. The land registry and estate services will simply update the cadastral maps minute by minute. Before initiating any land transaction, the notary will first have to register through his electronic account in the land registry the cadastral coordinates of the plot of land subject to the land transaction for which he or she is responsible, in the company of the surveyor who carried out the topographical surveys of the land subject to the transaction. This will allow the notary to ensure that this plot does not encroach on the public highway or a public road or another plot already titled or subject to a notarial land transaction. If this is the case, the transaction will not be initiated by the notary. If the plot has no problems, the notary will initiate a transaction and will automatically receive an official number. The plot will be recorded in the cadastral maps as already being the subject of a notarial transaction with his official number. At this stage, only the notary who initiated the transaction or the minister responsible for land registry and estates will be able to cancel it. This precaution will prevent double sales. The notary will be responsible for collecting and remitting all taxes owed to the state. Only after these taxes have been paid will the land registry services validate the transaction. From that moment on, the land title with an official number will be automatically granted and the cadastral map will be updated within minutes. The notary will have to print it directly from his or her electronic account at the land registry and sign it, thus concluding the land transaction. No one will have to go to the land registrar anymore. The positions of land registrars will be gradually eliminated. A sound land transaction with a notary will be able to be concluded in a few hours and the land title granted by the state. In the event of fraud, notaries will be the first people to be punished. I talk about other institutions in other video messages. We can strengthen our institutions and put them at the service of our people. Do not be discouraged. Register to vote and do everything you can to vote in October. Join the Cameroon movement on his website, cameroonmovement.net, and let us lead the fight for change peacefully but with determination. Your financial support remains crucial. It consists of making donations to the Cameroon movement through the means available on his website. We'll need a lot of money to mobilize the Cameroonian people and monitor his vote for the liberation of Cameroon. Do not be afraid. Our only true political party is Cameroon. Do not be afraid. Long live free Cameroon. Long live free Africa. Thank you for your kind attention.
C'est la voix de la nation.